Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to everybody who's joining this the ICE webinar presentation. Thank you for finding the time today to join us. And I'm delighted by the focus of today's presentation because it brings together two initiatives of the ICE has developed over the last number of years, 3 or 4 years. The first is the research grant scheme, which was introduced in 2019 with an objective of stimulating research across the ICE network, and particularly collaborative research, particularly sort of research that stimulated the members to come together, to join together, and to undertake research cross-institutionally and also hopefully internationally. So not just within sort of one member state, but across borders as well. So we started that in 2019. And then in 2020, we started the webinar series, and that was, of course, in response to the COVID crisis. The objective there was to support members and give members a platform to come together and discuss key issues facing them, and to share best practice and to share knowledge and just to collaborate, which is really sort of one of the key sort of emphasis of the ICE. And today's webinar brings together those two initiatives, because actually Bastian Benasco was the recipient of the research grant scheme in 2021. We had two recipients that year, and Bastian did the proposal on sustainable food systems in the curriculum, and that was awarded a research grant. And subsequently, Bastian produced the results of that at the IPOE in 2021, which was hosted by the University of Derby. It was a virtual or a blended event. It was actually in person at Buxton, but also people took part virtually. And Bastian sort of presented the proposal there for the development of sustainable food systems in the curriculum. Also sort of launched the idea of maybe setting up a network of people interested in sustainable food systems, and maybe developing a food expert network across the ICE. And I'm delighted to say that since then discussions have continued, and a team has come together across a number of institutions with Evelina and Linda and Josepina, all coming together and forming the core of the food expert team. And now we find ourselves that the process has moved on again, and the team have come up with an excellent idea to launch a new transnational research opportunity. And this has come out of those early beginnings, and it's exactly what we hope to do within the ICE. So we hope to develop new ideas, bring people together, and from that to create collaboration for the benefit of all members across the ICE network. So if I was to design a process that sort of encapsulated what we want to do in the ICE, then this is it. this is precisely it. So I'm really delighted of the way that this the whole food expert network has developed and evolved. And so we come to today. This is the 18th in our series of webinars, and I say within the webinar today, it's actually Evelina that's going to present to you on the next stage. So this research opportunity. And I look forward to members engaging and taking advantage of this opportunity that will be presented, and for the food network to develop into the future. So with that brief introduction, I'll hand over to you, Evelina.
Thank you very much, Craig. It's a pleasure to be here and to present our project that we launched together between St. Louis College, Switzerland, and Saxe University. I would like to present first the founding team of the Food Expert Talks. We have started collaborating with Bastian Bernasco, who is a senior lecturer and researcher at Saxion University. So Bastian has developed the ICE community sustainable food systems, and I have first reached out for Bastian as this community founder and manager to discuss for further possibilities regarding food expert talks. As for me, my name is Dr. Vina Giard, and I'm expert talk producer and concept founder. Prior to launching the Food Expert Talks, we have launched the discussion panels on leadership and the opportunity to collaborate on sustainable food systems and extend the expert talk concept into this area was a great opportunity to collaborate with the ICE institution members. Linda Passmore, a lecturer from Jesuit colleges as well, is a part of our team. She is an active co-creator of the food expert team, and she works with us and Bastian extensively. Finally, Dr. Giuseppina Menconi, who is our talk presenter, is also a part of the team. So she is a research faculty and she has had experience of participating in two expert talks similar to Linda, and they will be happy to answer the questions about the making of food expert talks after our main presentation. And of course, Bastian Bernasco is here and she'll be happy to answer your questions about the way in which we can specifically focus on sustainable food systems. Today, we will first introduce the food expert talks, then we will present the first expert talk that was recorded on behalf of the ICE community, and then we're going to launch the call for contribution. Afterwards, we will open the session for questions and we will be more than happy to answer them. So what are the food expert talks all about? So food expert talks are all about addressing the core issue of business. How to gain practical insights that can surely bring positive advantages and at the same time address the call for greater sustainability. So the concept of food expert talks focuses on putting theoretical knowledge into practical applications. That's what it's really all about. So the main output of food expert talks, as other expert talks, is developing practical recommendations for individuals and managers in hospitality, schools, business, in the community, and eventually to the policymakers. So we put theoretical knowledge into practice by producing video recorded expert talks. Every expert talk takes published research, which makes it academically credible, and puts the team together to make practical recommendations. And for this, we need several people. So first, we need to have a career researcher holding a PhD who understands academically credible research. Then we need to have a lecturer who is able to connect theory to practice. And finally, we need to have at least one practitioner or two practitioners who will create the connection with the industry. So what we are going to focus on right now is that we're going to focus on food expert talks with Bastian Bernasco. However, our team is willing to expand this concept and explore other expert talks areas in the future. So the main goal of expert talks is gather the team, explaining how we can sustain the food systems or manage food in sustainable ways. We also would like to share this knowledge for the community, making sure that the knowledge really travels around the system and does not simply stay on the bookshelf or in individual managers' toolbox or somewhere up there in the policymakers' cabinet. So our goal for gathering expert teams and sharing knowledge is ultimately to increase sustainability by sharing this knowledge with the society and moving forward. So potentially we can contribute to building more sustainable food systems, both locally and globally, by sharing these expertise. So how do the expert talks work? Well, first of all, they build on theoretical knowledge, and they are built on collaboration between the academics, lecturers, and practitioners. This is the key component of the food expert talks. So what kind of format are they taking? So food expert talks are going to take the peer-reviewed communication format. It means that they're going to be hosted at DICE platform, but before that, a committee of anonymous food experts will have to review the food expert talk proposals and accept them based on the rigor of theoretical knowledge used and based on practical relevance. In this way, we can ensure high quality of contributions and the possibility to refer to them as trustworthy sources. We're going to have video and written presentation format to make sure that they're modular enough to be used with students in the classroom, to be used by lecturers to develop their own expertise, by researchers who would like to conduct applied research or develop further theoretical studies based on real-world problems. Of course, we would like to reach out for food professionals in society, and this is why we're going to insist on developing actionable insights and practical recommendations for individuals and for managers as well. So at the end of the day, we would like to have the knowledge on sustainable food travel across the system and support achievement of sustainability goals. To give you a practical example, I would like to refer to the first food expert talks that we have created at Cesarit's College in Switzerland. So in this talk, we had 3 participants. So first of all, Dr. Giuseppina Minconi was a talk presenter and food expert. So she holds a PhD in chemistry, and she does research in food philosophy, food chemistry, and she focuses on operational sustainability issues in general in her research. At the same time, we had a food expert, Mr. Francesco Fersari from Cesarit's colleges as well. So he is passionate for cooking, and he holds a diploma in culinary and hotel management. So he is an Italian chef with a lot of experience, and he was our expert on board. Finally, Linda Passmore, who is here with us today and who will be happy to answer your questions, like Giuseppina Minconi, also participated in this talk as the practitioner. So she brought 20 years of experience of working with Nestle and British government, as well as manufacturers of food and white goods. So altogether, this team came to discuss what is important issue that they would like to tackle, and this team has decided to talk about the role of Mediterranean food culture in the workplace well-being. So our team has created the talk, To Save the Planet, Have a Tiramisu. Contribution of the Mediterranean food culture to workplace well-being. So what was this talk about? I welcome you to take a look at the video that we have shared through the ICE platform and that we're sharing in this presentation that will be made available after our today's session. But I would like to highlight the key takeaways. So in order to discuss this topic, our colleagues have looked into the role of the food in the worker well-being, and they have drawn upon the renowned Harvard model of human resource management, indicating the connection between individual and overarching societal goals. Also, our colleagues have drawn upon the knowledge accumulated by the International Labour Organization, the ILO, arguing that we should pay particular attention to the way how employers enhance nutrition of their workers in organizations. So research has demonstrated that traditional diets contribute to general health and well-being. So our colleagues have focused on very particular aspect on traditional diets, that is Mediterranean diet, or more broadly, Mediterranean food culture. They have created their food expert talk around the way how Mediterranean food culture contributes to nutrition. And first, they discussed this point. In the beginning, our colleagues have presented what does it mean to talk about Mediterranean food culture and live it fully from philosophical perspective. This has set the ground for going further. Next, our chef, Francesca Versari, has outlined what are the key characteristics of Mediterranean diet. And finally, Linda Passmore has given practical insights about the ways in which employers could make choices in terms of nutrition that could support workplace well-being through Mediterranean food offering. At the end, the findings are synthesized in the form of recommendations for individual workers and for employers as well. So the key takeaways from this expert talk were that, first of all, the concept of the workplace well-being has evolved over time, and now employers and employees as well expect that it would include the food in the workplace. The second main takeaway was that Mediterranean food culture is one of traditional and mainly plant-based food cultures that support healthy nutrition of individual workers, but also contribute to sustainable food systems at the same time. The third takeaway was that engaging in employee well-being supports to nutrition, employers could make a positive contribution to their organization and also to the well-being of workers. So we concluded this food expert talk, but outlining that not only the Mediterranean, but also other types of plant-based dining in the workplace could have beneficial effects. We talked about Mexican or Indian culinary practices, to name a few. So the final conclusion was that incorporating more plant-based food in the workplace dining places could contribute greatly to the workplace well-being, and this was the main message of this food expert talk. So in the past, we have done other expert talks, taking form of discussion panels on leadership, so leading with style, prevention, and we also have done in the past a talk on food and well-being, so the role of food in workplace well-being. So at Cesaris Colleges, we have accumulated a substantial experience in terms of developing, running these food expert talks, and communicating them across different platforms. So this past track of making the expert talks has enabled us to propose the food expert talk for the ICE and get it going. So when we talk about the food experts, there will be a video, but there will also be a written presentation with references. I have just shown to you the key points taking a form of slides, but on the ICE platform, you'll be able to see the link to the video and written presentation with the reference list, which is very important for the classroom use or for further references for lecturers, researchers, or eventually practitioners. So why do we have this combination of resources? You could say that simply a video could be sufficient. However, our goal is to reach out to a broader community and share these practical insights. This means that in some cases, watching a video would be more relevant, but in other cases, taking a look at written text could be more relevant as well. Sometimes you could envisage the modular use of both video and written text resources, where, for example, a lecturer could give an assignment to students to watch the expert talk outside of the classroom or in the classroom, and then develop an essay. So the written text with references could represent the resource that would be a starting point for developing such essays and going further, exploring particular, more specific topics related to the food expert talk. So it also enables to use the written presentation and video totally separately if there is a preference. So we can also view food expert talks as a platform for collaboration going beyond learning, but it could also be a platform for going further in research. For example, it could be a great opportunity for researchers to discover what is a practitioner's perspective, what are the practical issues that we really need to address, and use this expert talk opportunity as a starting point for future research, be it applied or theoretical. So, in other words, Food Expert Talk is a collaborative platform that allows not only the viewers, but also the participants to exchange their knowledge, share expertise, and eventually develop future projects. So, what is the impact of the Food Expert Talks? Well, first of all, we started developing the Food Expert Talks with a perspective to help developing sustainable food systems. So one of the ways in which we can develop sustainable food systems, among many others, is helping people to learn more about them. So it means that we need to call for collective intelligence and engage in positive practices for building sustainable food systems, and sharing knowledge about the way how they work could clearly make a great contribution to move forward. So if we reach out through our Food Expert Talks to a global and local community composed of students who are future practitioners, lecturers, professionals, and researchers, we can clearly have an opportunity to share knowledge about food sustainability and help improving it. Finally, we can help professionals to develop smart solutions supporting sustainable food systems together. So, in other words, we can summarize the impact of Food Expert Talks in three main areas. Well, the first impact that the Food Expert Talks could make is sharing research for pedagogical purposes. This is truly translational research, bridging theory and practice. And in addition to sharing research for pedagogical purposes, we can reach out to entrepreneurs, businesses, and build a community around this topic. So beyond the impact in terms of sharing research for pedagogical purposes, we can envisage the second type of impact. So the second type of impact that expert talks could have is sharing interdisciplinary knowledge. This is very important because it is through this connection among different disciplines that we can truly create new knowledge, develop collaborations, and advance our understanding about the way how sustainable food systems work and how we can support them in a better way. So the most important contribution that this project could make to researchers is related to the opportunity to have peer-reviewed publications. So connecting academic research to practice, translating theoretical knowledge into actionable knowledge on a daily basis is a hard work. And we would like to create an opportunity for scholars to be recognized for their engagement. So this is why we are setting out to create a platform where there would be a possibility to have peer-reviewed communications based on these food expert talks. So this will help to increase scholarly visibility for the ICE members. And this third aspect of the impact that the food expert talks could make is very important for the ICE as a community of educators. So we're going to launch the call for talks. So we're going to invite the teams of 3 to 4 members, so researchers, lecturers, and practitioners. We're going to make available more detailed guidelines, and these guidelines would be of interest to those who would like to take part in this initiative. We're also going to be inviting reviewers. If we would like to produce trustworthy sources of knowledge, we need to have reviewers who will be able to give anonymous and impartial feedback on the extent to which academic resources were properly used and the extent to which their interpretation really helps practitioners to move forward. So we will have the submissions open on rolling basis. The videos will be hosted by the ICE. And we will also be able to provide you other support with expert talk production, such as guidance on how to set them up. We can also consider collaborative expert talks with other colleges, where we have already extensive expertise on producing these talks. And we could also support you as a team for developing interesting and relevant topics for the community. So on that, I would like to thank you for your attention. And now I would like to open the round of questions for our team. So Bastian Bernasco is here in the audience with us. So she'll be happy to answer your questions about sustainable food systems and the way how expert talks connect this topic. So Dr. Giuseppina Minconi will be happy to answer the questions about the way how we organize the food expert talks. And finally, Ms. Linda Passmore will be happy to share her insight as a practitioner, so as a business expert who has participated successfully in these talks and contributed to sharing knowledge on sustainable food systems with the community. Thank you very much, and the floor is open for questions.
Thank you, Evelina. We've got a number of participants, so we're expecting or we're encouraging the participants to ask what questions you have regarding this, and maybe I'll kick off the process. If there's somebody out there who's perhaps listening to this webinar, or who's got a colleague that they know within their department who's interested in food systems but hasn't got a particularly a professional partner or isn't linked with a researcher, can they maybe just talk to somebody within the network and say, look, I've got this interest, I've got this burning desire. Where do I go with it? Who could I talk to, and who could I link with it? Is that the sort of the sort of approach you would welcome also?
Yes, absolutely. We would welcome a collaborative approach. One of the solutions that we could offer is that we could centralize ourselves the requests. If we would like to have researchers or practitioners or lecturers from different universities, we can help bring this, build these connections. We have already, by the way, done one of the expert talks in the past with the Hague Hotel School. So we combined knowledge from both teams to bring you insights together. We would also encourage collaboration across disciplines. For example, food expert talks is by nature a transdisciplinary area of knowledge, and we could look at it from different aspects. For example, we could talk about sustainability from human resource management perspective. This is what we have done. So how can employers contribute to employee well-being through developing more sustainable food offering? Yeah. So transdisciplinary approach is definitely welcome.
Yeah.
So
I
if
think
there are questions, feel free to ask. Yeah.
Evelina and Craig, since we have about 15 participants besides the panel, I would like to hear from the participants what areas of food you're working on in your institute at the moment. So which are the topics that you teach to students, for example, or that you are researching? Could you tell us a little bit more about that? I would like to invite your contributions. Who would like to say something about that? Because we really like to get to know you.
So for participants, if you can put your questions or your answers in the chat box, or if you raise your hand, we can make it so that you can speak.
So anything you are working on at the moment, or the reason why you checked into this webinar this morning or this afternoon? So what is your relationship to food systems, to food in general? Perhaps Eric Anderson wants to say something about this? Or Bert Weymans? Can you hear me at all?
If our participants are still thinking about the potential contributions topics, it's absolutely fine. We're here for you, and you can take your time to reflect about potential topics that would be interesting for us to pursue. So I would like, so while our participants are thinking about the whole process, I would like to ask Linda Passmore, who is our expert, to share some of her insights. So Linda, can you please share with us some of the insights? What do you find valuable about Food Expert Talks from business side?
Yes, hello everybody. Yes, I found the whole process really interesting because with my colleagues, we focused on a particular paper, and then I was looking at it particularly from the business point of view. And so to look at what companies are doing in terms of Mediterranean or plant-based eating and the focus that they have and what they're communicating to their employees, it's actually helped me a lot in my other courses that I'm teaching. So it was a great experience to be involved in the Food Expert Talk. And I'm using that knowledge that we developed. So I found it very valuable working with colleagues that are specializing in different areas, focusing on one particular aspect of sustainable food systems.
Great, thank you very much, Linda. Now, if we think about the other side, about the business side, do you think that an entrepreneur who could listen about one of your food talks could take something away and implement in daily operations?
I certainly hope so. I mean, that's what we were looking at. My side, I was looking at what is happening now in industry. What are practitioners doing to respond to these concerns? From well-being, we looked at well-being in terms of physical and mental health, as that's a topic of discussion in the industry. And then, of course, looking at the sustainability issues that we're all considering at the moment. And so, yes, we were able to talk about real life examples, which I think is important. Absolutely.
So in terms of investment of your time and organization, do you think that our participants who would like to give it a try would have to allocate a lot of time for this project, or is it manageable?
I found it manageable, mainly because I was actually working with other colleagues as well. You know, they were looking at, we were focusing on one particular publication, that always helps. And then I was benefiting from their knowledge, their research that they were doing at the same time. So, you know, it was a win-win, certainly on my part.
Great. So that's a very important point. So we share one particular concept. We're not going to do a very long expert talks. Typically, they would last between 10 to 15 minutes if we have only 3 participants. So we focus just on one theoretical concept to make it manageable. So bite-sized information. And we developed recommendations based on that. And Linda, for example, really emphasized how we can take this knowledge, what would be the example of the way how this concept works or does not work in practice. So negative knowledge is also important. And then we derived proper contribution. So I would like to ask Juzi, as a food talk presenter, what would be your experience in terms of organizing the food expert talk?
Hello, everybody. I think that I am in complete agreement with Linda. So it was a fantastic experience because we were a nice team and we were able to share our workload equally and contribute to and help each other as well. So I think is a wonderful opportunity to also establish good relation between colleagues, establish new collaboration for future research. So also in my case, it was definitely a win-win situation that I strongly recommend. Yeah.
Great. So Juzi, would you consider using food expert talk as a part of teaching material in the classroom?
I'm very happy you asked me this question because I was actually thinking about that once again when I was listening to your presentation. So as you said at the beginning, my background is scientific, and therefore I tend to teach subjects that are also really scientific. Therefore, science for sustainable, hospitality and tourism being an example of those. And sometimes I can feel that students are saying, yeah, well, you are talking about academic work, but what does it mean in reality? So to have the possibility to share this kind of talk with our students is definitely a way to let them know that the things are not just on academic paper or on books, but they are really happening in our day-to-day life. And so again, I think it is definitely a valuable experience that for our students can definitely add to their learning experience in the classroom.
Okay, great. And I would also like you to ask, you a question about academic knowledge. So you hold a PhD, and you were also responsible of selecting a theory that we will bring to life through the food expert talks. What kind of an impact would that have on you as researcher?
Well, for me, it definitely opened a whole new area of research, to be completely honest, because I came from a slightly different background, and but my main interest has always been in the environment and in the well-being of people. And of course, I'm now starting my own field of research in this direction as well. So yes, paper introduction.
Yeah, so Dr. Giuseppina Minconi has also presented her work extending on operational sustainability that she started to look at during food expert talks. So she just presented her research paper that was accepted after a double-blind peer review at the 3rd International Research Roundtable that was held at Cesarit's colleges in September. So the next International Research Roundtable will be held on the 14th to 16th of March, and that would be another opportunity to extend on this work. Yeah. So thank you very much, Juzi. So Craig, could you tell me if we have questions from participants?
We don't at the moment. Our participants are listening in, I think, but probably thinking because we don't see any, we haven't got any questions.
We've got one from Sandra.
Have we? Okay. Good.
Are you
Please
able
go ahead, Lise, because I don't see it. So.
Okay. Are you able to see the question, Evelina, or would you like me to read it out?
I think it would be great if you could read. I found it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have the question from Sandra Chero Osorio, who are currently working with the team on fine dining restaurants and the way how they responded to challenges brought up by COVID. So this is a really interesting topic, Sandra. Great. So Sandra is asking whether there would be a possibility to apply for the food expert talk, given the expertise in gastronomy and tourism. So one of the, so there are two possibilities. So the first possibility, Sandra, is to try and find in your network a PhD researcher and possibly another lecturer or practitioner who would like to form a team with you. So this is the most straightforward opportunity. However, it is not always possible to have all of the people whom we need in our own network. In this case, you are more than welcome to reach out to us and we can help you connecting with the right person, or we can integrate you in a team that's already working on a similar issue. So either you present, try to look in your network, or you let us know and we can help you connecting with the right people.
Yes. For example, Sandra, thank you very much for your question. It would also be possible, you know, to basically, I see that you're already doing research on the effects of COVID in fine dining restaurants, and I'm sure there's also a link to sustainability issues or to goals like, for example, food waste or plant-based food, which are the main issues which will bring us forward to reducing carbon emissions in the food system. And I think basically what you just need is another lecturer who can translate your research to the interests of students, perhaps, and a practitioner who then come from those fine dining restaurants. I'm sure you would have excellent contacts there who can then also bring their perspective in.
Yes, and it's also great that you're looking at COVID because this deals with sustainability of organizations and the way how organizations cope with such challenges also contributes to our knowledge on sustainability.
Absolutely, yeah. And I just as a as an anecdote, I was recently talking to a hotel manager who had recently who worked during COVID, and he said, well, during COVID, of course, we all brought in hotels, we brought food to the rooms, you know, and we ordered food a lot, or we just made it just in time. But, you know, only the packaging was terrible. There's such a lot of plastic involved in producing food and delivering food and serving food in that way. So it made them more conscious of, issues like waste and plastic use and all the rest of it. So they're thinking of different ways now to manage that. So that could be one of the things, or I would be very interested in how fine dining restaurants are now redirecting their strategies towards hopefully sustainable food.
Yes, I'll just jump in there because I've seen so Sandra's replied. It's actually something that as well that Sandra holds a PhD in gastronomy, so clearly could be the lead researcher in the project, because that fits with the criteria that you identified, Evelina. So it seems that what we're looking for here is either colleagues that are already working in this area, or people that have got contacts within fine dining restaurants that have made changes as a result in response to COVID, or possibly in response to sort of the coming out of COVID. Because I agree with you, Bastian, that one of the responses to COVID was just to wrap everything up. I mean, just to completely overpackage things that were being delivered, and then also things that were being produced. So stuff was going out to rooms that looked like it was going to the moon. I mean, they're so over sort of protected. And I wonder what's happened to that in fine dining restaurants. Has that declined, or so yeah, and anyone with any experience or any contacts in that area, please, or if you know somebody, get in contact with us, because this is how the network is designed to work. That someone with an interest connects to somebody else with an industry contact and maybe a lecturer, and then it just develops from there. So yeah, but please, if you listen to this and you think, yeah, okay, I've got a contact in a fine dining restaurant, just let us know, and we can connect across borders.
Absolutely. And even if you are also a PhD holder, it's fine. So the talk presenter could also be a PhD holder, so we can have 2 PhD holders and a practitioner and a lecturer as well, or 2 PhD holders where one of them will be acting as a project leader and another one will be focusing on making connections. So feel free to reach out, as Craig has suggested.
Mm-hmm.
Any other participants today who are working in the food system from a different perspective, or as a researcher or as a lecturer? Are you teaching the subject at all? Are you teaching food?
Yeah, I think our participants are taking in the information about the new initiative for our translational research, and it is very new. So it will take probably some time to think about it, consider what kind of projects could be taking place. In terms of organization, these projects are not excessively time consuming. So we typically had 2, I would not say 2, I would say 3 to 5 meetings with our colleagues from the moment that we define the theoretical construct that we would like to talk about, and the time that we produce the final video. So if you have a colleague who will be leading the team, who has an overview of expertise of everybody in the team, who is aware of the current issues going on, picking a relevant topic for the industry becomes quite an easy task. Yes. And it becomes easy when we put resources together with a team.
Yeah, I see that Eric Anderson has replied. Eric, are you on microphone, or? Eric is saying we've just started a community of grad students in food service and gastronomy.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, to talk to us a little bit?
We'd like to talk about your initiative, Eric.
Or is your microphone not working?
Okay, so Eric is mentioning that they could perhaps contribute with the students. So I would like to build up on that. So currently students are not invited to be a part of the expert team for the reason because they're students. Of course, if we could consider an exceptional case of a student who is doing the master's degree or doctoral degree after having had several years of experience, that person could step in as a practitioner. However, we really focus on delivering knowledge with experts. Now, students can participate in a different way. We would like to introduce these expert talks into a classroom, and we started already doing it. But for now, we do not have sufficient evidence on the extent to which students learn. So for this reason, Giuseppina Minconi is now considering launching a project for studying how students react to this digital tool. So where would like to do a research, an experimental study, where we would like to examine how students perceive food expert talks as a part of the tools used in the classroom. So if you are interested, Eric, we would be more than welcome to get in touch with you so that we can organize together a research across our institutions to study the effect of food expert talks as digital tool on students' learning experience. So feel free to reach out to us, and the email of Dr. Minconi is on the ICE webpage, so she's our main point of contact. So feel free to reach out for her, and it will be a pleasure for us to connect.
And of course, students might be practitioners.
Yes, under conditions students have at least 5 years of experience, of course, yes. And in particular, doctoral students who have already worked in the industry.
Yeah.
Good. Just picking up on Eric's contribution there, could students participate as researchers under the guidance of a lead researcher in an institution, for example?
No, unfortunately, no. The format of our talk is really to share expert knowledge. This is why we accept only researchers that hold PhD or a doctoral degree. So this is one of the trade-offs that we had to make. And this is what makes these talks a credible source of knowledge. Of course, if we have a student who is currently working on a particular project under guidance of a more senior researcher, the student can indirectly contribute, but a student cannot be considered an expert.
Yeah, no, it was the second approach that I was kind of referring to there, Evelina, that if they under the guidance of the expert, they
no, unfortunately no, because we're really aiming to do expert-based talks. Of course, students are welcome to share their own videos, and many hospitality schools do have such format where students produce their own videos under guidance of their supervisors, and that's great. However, in food expert talks, we make emphasis on expert participants, and that's why the practitioners have to have at least 5 years of work experience. Even if it's a lecturer who came from the industry, they really need to have this experience, because when somebody has just entered the industry, has just seen how it works for 1 year or 2 or even 3, the person does not have enough expert knowledge. So we take confirmed practitioners as participants, and we also would expect that the lead researcher has a PhD or has a doctoral degree. For example, it could be somebody who is holding DBA, so that's absolutely fine. DBA, DPhil, Doctor of Education, that's fine as well.
Okay.
In the future, if we grow, maybe we will have student community sharing with one another, but that could be one more step forward.
Indeed, yeah. That could be a possibility. Okay, exactly. Well, I saw that Eric has just mentioned that he needs to leave for a lecture in a few minutes, so we've all got time pressure. So, but I would encourage Eric and again the other participants that are listening in to just reflect on the opportunity that's been presented, and just to get in touch. Just get in touch with members of the Expert Talk team to discuss your ideas, discuss your contacts, to discuss your needs, and let's take it forward, because you don't have to have the complete the complete answer or the complete proposal in place. Please just get in touch and get part of the process. I think that's the
exactly.
That's the message here.
Well, thank you very much for hosting this webinar. Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Thank you, Elise. Thank you, for the whole team. And of course, I would like to thank for our expert participants for joining us today. And thank you, the audience, for taking your time to discover our new translation research initiative of the Food Expert Talks.
Well, okay, Evelina, thank you to all the presenters, and thank you to all the participants. Evelina says we'll find the time. Hopefully this has been useful. I really look forward to seeing the expert talk network develop over the coming years, and seeing where we can go with this. Thank you all. Have a very good day, whatever status your day's in, whether you're coming into evening or whether you're just starting your day. Have a good continuation. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Hope to see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.